Hello and welcome to this week's episode.
This week, Gary and I are in Lofoten in Norway, and we've got content from the UK with the other guys.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. We've come to a location that we're all quite familiar with because it's quite local to us, but especially local to Colin. It's only, what, half an hour away from where you live?
Half an hour.
A place called Burton Dassett Country Park. And there's a classic shot of this, what is it?
It used to be a lookout tower.
Right, okay. Yeah, classic shot of this tower here. And we've got a lovely, as I say, frosty morning this morning. The grass has got loads of frost on it. We've got some lovely cloud formations. Hopefully we can get some decent images. But one of the main reasons we've come here this morning is because Steve has recently had a knee operation, and yeah, it's a great spot to come if you're not able to walk very far, because the car is just there. It's what, 2-minute walk?
Not even that.
Not even that. Yeah, exactly. So it's a great spot to come with, not too much elevation as well to sort of walk up and down hills, and you can be here. So yeah, myself and Colin are here. I'm not sure where Steve has gone. Seen Steve anywhere?
No.
Steve! Steve! Ah, here he comes now. The bionic man. You have to bear with us, he's going to take a while to get here with his knee. To be honest, I'm surprised he's not walking around in circles, because he's only had one knee done. He needs the other one done still.
I'm not going to lie, I'm torn.
It's like one of those Sidemen out of Doctor Who.
I feel a bit sorry for him, but he has been a bit of a git at times. Oh, Steve. Get well soon, mate.
Yeah.
Although if you could get a wriggle on, it helps with your retention.
What would you call this?
Robo o'clock. That's what time I call it.
How you doing?
Good morning.
Yeah, good to have you back out.
Oh, mate, this feels fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing. Cold, but I'm buzzing. I think my new knees froze up in the cold weather.
I was just saying, I'm surprised you're not walking around in circles, because you've only had the one done so far.
Oh yeah, it's a bit of a problem. I keep bearing to the right.
Right, so
I've been round that thing 3 times. Just trying to get here.
Boys, focus.
I think we need to make a crack, because that sun's going to break through there any time soon, to be honest with you. So,
Yeah.
shall we get a move on?
Yes, yeah, let's get some
do it.
photography done, eh? Come on.
Let's do it. I can't remember the last time I was this blimmin' cold. I've just set the drone up, and anyone who ever flies a drone will know your hands, because you're holding the controller, are just completely exposed, and any cold that's in the air just seems to be drawn to your hands. More so than when using the camera for some reason. I've never understood that. But yeah, as I say, I've set the drone up to get some B-roll. But while I was up there, I thought I'd try and grab an image as well. I have a lot of clone stamping to do on this, because there's some idiots in the way. Including myself. Yeah, I'm going to do some clone stamping of some tripods and some people. But I've sent the drone out just over that way and made use of this sort of little ridge line here, these sort of lovely sort of undulating sort of curves, if you like, that kind of lead out to the lookout tower there. Yeah, I think it's going to work out quite nice. I bracketed exposures again, one for the highlights, one for the shadows, and yeah, I think it looks quite nice. So what we've also got as well is obviously this path, which also acts as a lead as well, and with this beautiful sky that we have, I'm looking forward to editing it. I think it should look quite nice. So I'm going to pop it on screen. Right, just after that piece of camera, as I suspected, the sun is just breaking through and it's creating some beautiful, rich golden colours in the clouds over there. It looks stunning. So very, very quickly framed the composition. It's not the composition I came for this morning. I wanted something a little bit different. But what I've done here is I've made use of this path, this lovely sweeping S-curve here. in towards the lookout tower there. Yeah, it's really, really quite nice. So what I'm doing is I'm at portrait orientation, 28mm, f11, a quarter of a second currently, but I'm just going to keep adjusting that as the morning goes on, as the light comes up. Steve is almost in my composition.
Perhaps forgive him just this once.
I think I've just got a bit of tripod leg there, but I can probably clone that out, no issues. But yeah, it is beautiful. Just need to get that sun to go up a little bit higher, just light up these clouds above this lookout tower here, and it should look beautiful. Just as a thing to explain as well, just to give myself an insurance policy, I'm also bracketing images because the contrast between obviously the ground here and the sky there is quite high, but I probably won't need to use them, but it's best just to give myself that insurance policy anyway. So, if this works out any good, we'll pop it on screen. I'll pass you over to one of the other guys and see how they're getting on.
You know what? I'm struggling with my hands. Struggling with my hands as well. I think Martin's struggling with his hands. Well, both struggling. It's cold. It's bitter cold. I'm not used to this. We've got some lovely satellite just coming down there and scratch that shot. So I've got a new toy. Got the A7R5. So I'm actually doing a focus bracketing thing that it does. It automatically focus brackets, adjust the focus with the brackets.
Steve,
The focus.
what drugs have they given you?
Think.
Nice.
It focus stacks
Got there in the end.
for you.
Cool.
Brilliant.
Indeed.
Brilliant. Love it.
Have you got any left over, mate?
Well, it's set up right, isn't the thing? I love it.
Oh, God.
So really wide. There's this lovely hill that's running through to the beacon. Sky's quite nice bit of texture in the sky. It is starting to disappear though, getting more and more blue sky actually, which is a little bit of a shame. The surrounding areas look fantastic. The biggest problem I've got is keeping these warm. 20 minutes ago, I could not work my camera because my hands are so cold. Couldn't feel any buttons. Anyway,
2 words, hand warmer.
here's a shot, and then see how Martin and Colin getting on here.
Yeah, well, I got this comp set up here. Now I've got a leading line on the ridge line here, leading up more or less to the tower.
This is a man
And
whose mouth is very cold.
what's got my interest is the way the light's playing on the mounds
Not the sheep, then.
with the shadows. Sky's not brilliant, but it'll do.
I quite like a cheeky sheep in my shot.
So back in February, Gary and I took a trip to the Lofoten Islands in Norway, and as you may have seen throughout the series, it's an absolutely magnificent place for landscape photography.
We barely noticed.
So we thought
Mm-hmm.
we'd produce this short clip showing off its beauty. Ladies and gentlemen, we give you our love letter to Lofoten.
Oh, boys, I love you for this. special face that is.
In this week's episode, I find myself in my beloved Yorkshire. I'm at Whitby, and I've brought Steve along. So Steve really wanted to see the piers at Whitby at the end of the harbour. So we're over on the east side, which is my favourite, and I thought I'd drag him along and show him what it's got to offer. When we hadn't even got to the piers, he spotted something. You know, the consummate expert that he is, he's managed to spot a little shot here. So over to Steve, and he can explain what he's got.
As I was walking down, what I spotted was this nice symmetry out in the harbour here with the wall of the pier. I wonder what you actually call it, the technical word, with the beacon on the end there, and then you got the left and right beacon, the green and the red. So what I'm trying to do is get it in the middle and then doing a long exposure. So I'm getting a minute exposure. So first of all, I've changed my settings to get 1/15 of a second. And then when I put the 10 stop on, that will give me a 1 minute exposure. So that's what I'm doing really, and just getting everything central and in the middle.
If I'm being honest, I'm quite envious of what he spotted. That's an excellent shot. But when he's done, we're going to head down onto the pier, onto the harbour walls, and hopefully, because we had a storm yesterday, I was worried that the storm gates might be closed. It stops you from getting onto those final pieces of pier. But hopefully that's open and we can get along and go have a look at those light beacons.
For anyone that's confused, press the red button for a translation.
As promised, we've come to the end of the piers, end of the harbour wall, and we're on these wooden breakwaters. You can see over my shoulder, you've got two marker lights. You've got a red one, a red tower and a green tower. And for me, the red light, the red tower, it's just more photogenic. Steve just agreed with me. And also over here, I think this is the east pier, it's just a lot more quiet. You get a lot less people, a lot less tourists on this side. So we walked over the little bridge that connects it. We're just sort of framing up a shot. And Steve's just put on a wide angle lens. So I'll just have a word with him and ask him what his thought process is.
Right, so I've come to this area. We've moved up a lot closer to it, and I've tried to get I'm concentrating on the legs of this beacon. Now we're not going to get them 100% symmetrical, but I think this works quite well. The other thing that works well from here is the two railings. I'm not getting these parts right close to the edge of the frame on both sides, which works well from here. And I just like the texture of the wood and all that, so that's why I've gone wide. And then what I've also done is put the beacon on the top right hand third of the image as well, so I'm using the rule of thirds. So this comes into the top right hand part of the image. That beautiful colour in the sky, that sort of pinky bluey hue that we get, it's superb. I've set it at 1/15 of a second, f14, which will give me a 1 minute exposure with the 10 stop on, and that's what I'm going to do now.
So yeah, that was a really quick whistle-stop visit to these piers. There's so much to offer here. You could spend hours taking shots. But yeah, Steve wanted to come and see them, so did it live up to your expectations?
That and more, to be honest with you. I love this type of photography. It's my type of photography. I absolutely love it. And I think it's because I don't get to do it that often that I appreciate it even more.
You're a bit landlocked, aren't you?
A bit landlocked, I'm afraid. So when I get to the seaside, I get a bit of a dizzy head, and you just want to make the most of it. And that's why I'm trying to go all day and make the most. Even though we've had blue skies. And
I know,
things like that.
Make the most of what you've got, the conditions you've got.
Fantastic structures, fine art stuff. Next to the coast, what more do you want?
So yeah, we'll wrap this little section up and we'll hand you over to one of the other guys.
There's a classic shot here of this pier with this beautiful sweep out and these beautiful boardwalks leading out to this sort of entrance to the harbour here. I'm going for a long exposure, thinking about a 4 minute exposure based on the calculation I've worked out on photo pills. And yeah, I've got a 10 stop filter on the lens, and I haven't got my remote shutter with me, so I'm actually using the Sony Imaging Edge app as a remote shutter. Basically set a timer on my phone for 4 minutes, and then once it reaches 4 minutes, I'll just cancel the exposure. The one thing I'm really struggling with is quite a busy pier. There's a lot of people walking past, and it's as they're walking past, it's a bit bouncy. So I'm not too confident on how this is going to turn out. It might be a little bit blurry. We'll have to see. But maybe with the length of the exposure I've got, it might sort of counteract that. That's what I'm thinking anyway. So yeah, let's take this shot, pop it on screen for you. Let us know what you think in the comments. Now I'll pass you over to one of the other guys.
So we've just had some young people walk by, which I quite like to see actually, that they're out at night and taking in all the scenery and things like that, which is quite nice. And as they were walking by, I'd already started my 1 minute exposure, but I wasn't worried because I know they won't be visible in the shot. As long as they keep moving, and they won't be visible in that shot at all, so it's not a problem. The only thing I did have a worry about is the vibration, because we're on a wooden sort of pier, but I've had a look at it, it's nice and sharp, it's all works, so I'm quite happy with that, and I'm chuffed a bit with the shot actually, so I'll show you now.
Woodland, woodland, woodland. Why do I struggle with you so much? What that advice that the woodland wizard gave me?
Think about separation.
It's still no good. I need some help. I need some thumbs up help.
You need to be aware, at this point, there are so many thoughts going through my head, and I've deleted every one of the comments. I don't want us to get banned. Oh God. If you are of a sensitive disposition,
Such a lovely tree.
look away now.
Just love the texture of your bark and the fungus growing out of you. Oh, and I love the green moss. Such beautiful branches.
A great bit of wood.
One of the thumbs up guys are in trouble. Never fear, Soggy. The bearded wonder is here. Okay, I thought about it. There are three main things that I find really helpful with woodland photography. Number one, the location. You need to find a good woodland location that has lots of characterful trees, like this one behind me. I find it definitely helps to be in a woodland that has quite a clean floor as well. This is a good example because, as you can see, we've got a nice clean floor and you've got trees that are not too tightly packed in, so you can work on trying to get that separation between the trees. If you get a woodland location that's too compact and all the trees are really close together, it's very difficult to get that separation. And definitely not somewhere like this where you've got random twigs coming out, holly bushes everywhere. It just looks like chaos. Number two, the conditions. Very, very important. As you can see behind me, it's a bit bright today, haven't really got any atmosphere, and these aren't typically the days that you'd find me in the woodland for photography. You might find me in the woodland for other reasons, but that's between me and the trees.
Oh yeah.
That's taking dinner feeling it a bit too far.
Beautiful fungi. What you're ideally looking for is foggy conditions if you can get them. They really do help you separate the main focal point between the trees in the background and just give that level of sort of atmosphere and intrigue and mystique within the images. And number three, probably one of the most important, and that is, as I've already touched on already, separation between the trees. So what I'm going to do now is give you an example of what I do to try and get separation in my woodland images. So starting at the widest angle of this lens, which is the Tamron 28-200, so 28mm, I basically start by pointing at what I think is a nice composition. So you've got obviously the tree here, and immediately I have a problem, and that is this branch coming right down here, intersecting with these branches just behind. So I start to think then, how can I improve this composition? And really, it's such small changes that can really dramatically change the composition. So I'll point you back towards the tree here. What I'm thinking is, if I take a small step to the left, it's probably going to open up a gap between this branch here and these branches behind. So I'll just take a sort of half step to the left, there, and you see it's a lot better. It's opened up this gap here. It's not intersecting too badly, and it looks a lot more tidy. But we have introduced a new problem, and that is at the top here, this part of the branch is intersecting with the trees behind. Now, I might walk back a little bit. I might even walk forward a little bit. And you see, just by moving forward just a tiny bit, it's just placed that top of that branch there in that sort of open space between those trees. That's really, really quite nice. So just about there, I think it's a really nice composition. I don't think it's going to work today. I do feel we need the fog to give that extra level of separation against this main tree here and the trees in the background there. But as a composition, I do think it works. You have got a lovely lead in from the bottom right up to here, leading from the top right, coming into here, and leading from the bottom left. It just works really nicely as a composition. And also, I'm being really careful with the edges of the frame to try and minimize any distractions that there are on the scene. So again, if I frame that up here, on the top left-hand side, you've got this branch coming in, which I do find a bit of a distraction. So if I just come slightly to the right, probably about there, that's a lot more pleasing to the eye. So yeah, I'm really quite happy with that. There are some distractions, like this branch here, but I have no issues in using the clone stamping tool to remove that in post if I need to, if I do find it's a distraction when I get back into post. But as I say, if I was to come back here on a foggy day, this scene could look completely different. And actually that branch there, with a bit of fog, won't have any real significance. So I hope you found that useful, Suggy. That's my 3 tips to how you get better woodland photography. And just to recap, those 3 things are: 1, location. Find an interesting woodland location, preferably with some beautiful characters like the one behind me, and a nice clear woodland floor so you haven't got too many distractions in the scene. That's a great place to start. 2, the conditions. As you can see today, it's a bright blue sky day, but the sun beaming down, creating some hot spots on the trees, and it just looks a little bit messy. Ideally, if you can come down to woodland on a really foggy day or even an overcast day, you will find that you get much better woodland images that just look a bit more simplified. 3, separation. I cannot stress it enough. Leave the tripod attached to your bag. Just get your camera out. When you see something that looks interesting, grab your camera, walk around, try different focal lengths, walk backwards, walk forwards, slightly to the left, slightly to the right, micro adjustments until you get a composition that you're happy with. And then only, and I mean only, when you're happy with the composition that you've got, get your tripod and anchor that camera down and take the shot. Back over to you, Suggy.
Thanks for that, Martin. So what I need is separation, the right conditions, and the right woodland. Right, I'm going to put that into practice. Stay tuned to see the results in an upcoming episode. Right, back to one of the other guys.
Hello, yes, thank you very much. Welcome to this little segment of the show, which is a new segment called One Shot Wonders. And the idea of the segment is you go to a location and you only shoot one shot. You think about it, we'll talk you through it, and then we shoot it and leave it for you to judge. So today I'm at Shingle Street on the Suffolk coast, and I've got one shot in mind. There's generally 2 or 3 here, but they're all very much the same. Long exposure, playing with leading lines, little shapes, little curves, which are left by the outgoing tide in this lovely shingle you can see all around me. And there's a couple of cottages which just lead the eye as the main interest right in the background. Looks really good in a stormy sky, but it also looks great in a clear sky like today. So I'm going to shoot it in monochrome. It's going to be a long exposure. I'm going to try and get something around a minute. It's just all about the curve around the shingle bank with the cottage in the background. Let's go and have a look at the shot. Right, this is what we're looking at. You can see I've got the Z8 up on the tripod, portrait orientation, and it's just about that curve you can see right in front of you, with the cottages right at the top of the apex of the curve. And I'm going to smooth the water out, so I need a longish exposure. I'm going to put a 10-stop neutral density filter on the front, and that's going to allow the water to move, and that will smooth it out. Only thing I don't like, these little kind of bits in the side here, which I'm going to put a polarizer on the front, which will do 2 things. First of all, it will help me slow down the exposure, which is what I want, and also hopefully it's going to get rid of those reflections that's glaring off the sun at the moment. So let's set that up and we'll talk you through it. Right, if I take you into the camera, let me just show you what I'm seeing, because this is not easy. Let's get that working. There we go. So as you can see, we've got some reflections off the water here, which is really tough to get rid of. I've tried very hard with the polarizer, but if I just turn this polarizer, you'll see that actually it gets rid of the reflections but not the bright spots. So what I'm going to have to do is get it as good as I can get it and then go through this in Photoshop, because for me those little white bits spoil it, but it's going to be easy enough to clone out. So we'll do that. You can see that I've turned the camera display to monochrome just to help me visualize this, and we've got something like f13 30th of a second, which is going to give me about a 30-second exposure with a 10-stop neutral density on. So let's do that. I might go to f16, which gives me a minute just to smooth all this out, and then we're done. Right, a couple of test shots. We've now got f16, 60 seconds, so 1 minute exposure, polarizer on the front, which is going to cut down the light by a couple of stops, and a 10-stop neutral density filter. A little bit of cloning in Photoshop, make it into a square. Here comes the shot. Let me know what you think. Voice from above, what do you think?
Not bad, that man. Not half bad.
And speaking of the voice from above,
What, me?
if you've been watching the series, you'll know that we've had a brilliant voiceover going on across the episodes. And I think now might be the time to introduce you to the woman behind the voice.
But you can hardly wait.
Some of you may have already guessed, but if you haven't, here's a clue. She's a big YouTuber, she's got a big YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it, where have you been? But also, go and check it out. It's brilliant fun. She takes the mickey out of herself all the time. She does brilliant voiceovers, which is why we wanted her as part of our team. So let me introduce you to
Drum
the
roll.
newest member of our team, live from the Outer Hebrides.
Not live, Dave.
Please give a warm welcome
Alive, yes.
to Louise. Welcome.
Oh, God.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Plank.
I'm Louise Welcome, a photographer from the south coast of England. I really couldn't get much further north right now.
I am sure that many of you will have recognised that backdrop, but for context, I want to show you, from my house to there, it's a blimmin' long way. But once you get past the tedium of lots of motorways, oh, it's a cracking little journey, with so many opportunities to ooh and ah. Now, as tempting as it was to stop off on every single corner to take a photograph, I had a hot date on a boat to get to my dream destination, the Outer Hebrides, or more specifically, every beach in the Outer Hebrides.
To anybody that is married to a photographer or in love with one, when we say half an hour,
Thou shalt be a blimmin' long time.
well, you know.
The thing about the beaches in the Hebrides is, well, they're all very different. They all have lovely personalities and they're all absolutely worth exploring. No matter what your preferred style of photography, every time you visit a Hebridean beach, it's just different. The lighting, the texture in the water, it's just blimmin' exciting. And there's no getting away from it. That water is extraordinary in its colour. During previous visits, I'd focused on the more favoured, more comfortable locations, Luskentyre, Hushinish, Small Beach. But on this occasion, I decided to explore a lot further. You can have a look at those on my channel. When I finally got around to sorting and editing the 1,500 photos that I took. Now, the thing that I love most is getting my feet in the water and trying to capture the sense of power and energy in the sea. With that, I have to make sure I've got an escape route and just be prepared to grab my kit and run.
Oh, good Lord.
I, like so many photographers, have a bit of an addiction to capturing that perfect whooshing wave. And on so many occasions on this trip, a third of a second was having some really cracking results. Even when I shook it up and got the wave coming in at Luskentyre, that speed worked a treat. I think my favourite shot though is one of Small Beach. Just the power in those waves. And yes, I did fill my boots. With waves, it's all about timing.
Boom, 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 boom.
4 booms, 4 photos. The trick is to wait. The tide comes in, pause, It'll slow and then speed up. Now, now, now. Although I rather like this third of a second swishery, I thought I would try it in black and white, just to see if it had that certain je ne sais quoi. Not sure. What are your thoughts? Gonna be honest, I think this scene's too busy. My eye's going all over the place.
Well, this is all a bit awkward. I recorded quite a nice little segment for you guys, and yeah, the audio failed. I mean, totally failed. Not a hint of anything. Totally shambolic, so I should fit in rather well with this group. Anyway, thank you for going with this and having lots of B-roll and lots of photos. Not my normal style.
What a plank.
Normal service will be resumed.
Good.
Oh, there we go. I hope you've enjoyed watching this episode of Thumbs Up the Photography Show. If you have enjoyed it and you've seen the previous episodes, think about pressing the like button. It really does help out the channel. And if you've really enjoyed it, think about subscribing, because there could be a series 2 in the not so distant future.
But join us next time for the series finale, where we head north for an extended episode.
And here's Louise with a little taster of what that's going to be like. Thanks for watching.
Yes!
Next time Steve gets told off, there may be a theme. God knows what he's done. Colin waits for a lift. Martin, the dendrophile, he loves a tree yet again. Oh, the toddler wakes up. He doesn't look happy. It goes a bit horror show at times. Oh God, what have you done this time, son? Steve gets told off again. Meanwhile, somewhere on the A82, Dave has a hidden sausage. Not a euphemism. I think someone wants a nibble. Oh, yeah, and then they get festive, allegedly. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you there.